I think I spot a politician with a backbone. Tanzania's president is blaming the sharp rise of coronavirus cases on faulty testing kits. Article published by Rabson Kondoe or Kondo. I don't know if I pronounced his name right. But let's get into the article. This is very interesting if the test kits have coronavirus in them. And it should perk up your ears as to the billionaires providing these test kits to us. Again, key figures that you need to know: Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, the ones providing you with these test kits and these potential vaccines, the ones that we're almost deferring to in regards to our well-being. Crazy move, but it seems like America is deferred to them niggas to help heal us. Africa, not so much. Let's read it. In just a month, Tanzania went from only 20 coronavirus cases reported to 480 cases, an alarming increase which pushed the country at the highest number of cases in East Africa. So already in East Africa, they have 480 cases, 16 deaths, which is not a lot considering the Western world. So Africa, statistically, in comparison to the rest of the world, is okay when it comes to coronavirus. But the president is attributing the spike to these test kits implemented damn near through the not the people of Africa and the people who have the ties to CDC and WHO, just a CDC reserved in Africa. So let's read that part. Magufuli, who holds a doctorate in chemistry, said the testers randomly obtained several non-human samples on animals and fruits, which included a sheep, a goat, and a pawpaw. So they got the test kits and did a sheep, a goat, and a pawpaw, which I think is the Tanzanian term for like an apple, and the results all came back. They all came back positive after the test kits. The samples were given human names and ages and were submitted to the country's national referral laboratory to test the coronavirus without the lab technicians knowing the identity of the samples. So the lab didn't even know the identity, but all three results came back positive after the test kits. So had not been for them doing a sheep, a goat, and a pawpaw, they would have said, oh, more Tanzanians have coronavirus. More of them are infected. But it's the test kit implemented. Okay, this prompted Magufuli to believe some people who were tested positive for COVID might not have contracted the novel virus after all. I have always raised my suspicions about how our national lab has been conducting the COVID cases. Has ordered a probe into the country's testing protocols, insinuated possible interference by unnamed saboteurs. So he claims that the tests were sabotaged. That's his formulation. Not saying he's 100% right or wrong, but when you test an apple, a sheep, and a goat, and they all come back positive based on the test, you should raise suspicion logically. Tanzania has long been criticized by public health experts for enabling a more relaxed approach to the pandemic compared to strict lockdowns and restrictions in neighboring East African countries. So again, they're being scrutinized. This is a common denominator you're seeing throughout all the news about coronavirus. You're being scrutinized if you're relaxed, if you're calm, if you're not practicing social distancing to the fucking T. If you're not strict on lockdowns, you will be scrutinized regardless of who you are, white, black, red, or blue. They're telling us we need to stay in the house, we need to keep distancing. That's been the message consistently pumped. Instead, Magufuli has asked Tanzanians to pray away the virus and left places of worship open since the COVID-19 outbreak. So he left religious facilities open. We talk about separating church and state, but you close down churches and states. That's not separating church and state. So he leaves the facilities open for people to practice openly. That's not violating constitutional rights. But they almost mock it. They saying he asked them to pray away the virus. That's kind of like mocking it, or mocking the religious, saying like, oh, you're looking for somebody that ain't got the answers, essentially. Pray away the virus. That's more not logical. Okay, the additional pressure on the president has come after 3 members of the parliament in the opposition party died with suspected COVID symptoms over the last 2 weeks. Suspected is just not good enough for me. I don't know how good it is for y'all, but suspected COVID symptoms and for sure COVID symptoms are two totally different connotations. So they're facing flack because 3 members from the parliament died suspectedly of COVID and they're being reluctant on it. That's not as much evidence as him taking them COVID test kits and having an apple and a goat come out with COVID. But let's keep it going. Oh, Magufuli is now putting his trust in herbal treatment, touted as a cure for COVID by the president of Madagascar, Andry Rajoelina. So now you have African nations with the herbal treatment that's not being spoken of in here. And again, look, the World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that there was no proof of any cure. Every time there's a holistic mechanism out there, potentially, you got or a method already out there potentially with I forgot the medicine Trump professed with the hydro whatever, but it has some science behind this treatment being valid. Not saying it was completely substantial. You have the vitamin C treatments going on, the injected vitamin C being shut down, and the WHO coming out again saying, "Oh, vitamin C don't cure nothing." You have WHO coming out again with antibodies and saying, "Oh, antibodies don't cure nothing." And now you have them saying this herbal treatment that we don't even know of, but the World Health Organization already said there's no proof of any cure. They're already trying to debunk it in your head. Like, and this should make y'all go back to the rabbit hole of herbalists and holistic doctors being murked around the fucking country and asking why. And then you see in this time now where you see the WHO and the CDC constantly debunking herbal remedies and pushing their technological advancing medical remedies which never heal you. They only keep you alive, essentially. Okay. I have communicated with Madagascar and they have already written a letter saying they have discovered some medicine. We will dispatch a flight to bring that medicine so that Tanzanians can also benefit. So as a government, we're working day and night, he said. Congo and Guinea-Bissau are the other African countries who have promised to import herbal remedy. So other nations in Africa have herbal remedies. And you see their death toll is the lowest. Their rates are the lowest. I'm not correlating that, but they using herbal remedies. They out there probably getting some sunlight. And they out there not catching COVID, nigga. Regardless of what y'all want to say. Based on the numbers. Soon as their Magufuli was elected in 2015, Tanzanians and even other Africans celebrated his bulldozer persona for getting things done, such as firing a number of government top officials in his anti-corruption crusade with impromptu visits to public institutions. So he been firing corrupt motherfuckers. Bully, anti-corrupt crusade. So anybody who look like they're part of the swamp, he getting them niggas up out of there. The hashtag what will Magufuli do trended on Twitter during his honeymoon period and seen as a wake-up call for other African leaders to emulate the nonsense Tanzanian leader, excuse me. Over time, that shine has wore off with media clampdowns, and the president has come under fire for the country's deteriorating human rights situation. Hold on. Which included a policy on banning pregnant girls from school. So that's another piece of rhetoric aside from the situation at hand. But yeah, COVID test kits in Tanzania, and then mind you, in Atlanta, Georgia, they had the COVID test kits. 2 predominantly Afrocentric places, you have faulty test kits. And that's my worry out the gate. These billionaire elitists who supply the test kits, they are vehement in giving them to the black community. Before I worry about the actual COVID, I worry about the people perpetuating that this bitch is a danger. But this is the article. Let me know your thoughts, your comments. It's your boy Dane. Discern it for yourself. Peace.